Good morning to all of you. And today we are going to see the in C++ revision session array. And in the last two videos, we covered these all topics: function loop, control flow, basic input output, returns variables, data type, and introduction of C++. And now we are going to look at in array in C++. Let's start. An array is a collection of elements, same type, placed in a contiguous memory location. It allows you to store multiple values under a single name and classes them using an index. So array is a collection of elements of the same type placed in a contiguous memory location. It uh, allows you to store multiple values under a single name and access them using an index. Array are one of the most basic and commonly used data structure in C++ programming. Using namespace std int main. So कैसे हम array को डिक्लेयरिंग एंड इनिशियलाइजिंग एन एरे। तो यहाँ पे एक ही बार में हम डिक्लेयर भी कर रहे हैं, इनिशियलाइज भी कर रहे हैं एरे को। डिक्लेरेशन होता है कि हम एरे के नेम को डिफाइन करते हैं, उसके साइज को डिफाइन करते हैं किसी स्पेसिफिक डेटा टाइप के देखते हुए, उसको लेते हुए, ठीक। और इसमें वैल्यू को ये इनिशियलाइज करते हैं एक कर्ली ब्रेसेस में, ठीक ना। प्रिंटिंग एरे एलिमेंट्स, तो बाय यूजिंग फॉर लूप we can print all these values of array. So we will initialize with I equal to 0, and if we talk about this 0 and what is this the number that will print 0 to 4, this is the memory location. And with the increment of 1, updation of 1, count uh, array I, so it will print these all the elements of array. Output, here we can got it. Explanation: int array declares an array of 5 integers. The elements are initialized with 0, 4, 8, 12 and 16. The for loop is used to iterate over the array and print each element. Array indicates in C++ start from 0, so array index 0 refers to the first element and array 4 refers to the last one in this case. So we can see here, this is the array. Array is a set of element which uh, is arranged in contiguous manner. Contiguous manner means continuously ordered. The location of the memory will be in the continuous format. So the first element is on the 0 position, 0 location, then the second will be and if the second element is on the first position, then the third will be the second position, and third position next, and next will be the fourth position. So we can see the difference between these, all the locations are same. So this property is called contiguous allocation of element in the array. So fine. And array indicates in C++ start from 0. So array 0 refers to the first element and array 4 refers to the last element in this case. Create an array. We can declare an array by simply specifying the data type first, and then name of the array with its size inside the square bracket, better known as array subscript operator. So firstly we write the data type that we usually write here. We can see int is the data type, and array name. So array name we write here array. If we want to enter the different name of the student, we can here enter the data type as char, here a student, and size of a student, how much the data of a student we want to enter in the this array. So we will give the size of the array, means how much entry we want to enter the detail and name of the students. So that will be the size. This statement will create an array with the name array name that can store size elements of data type. Once the array is declared, its size cannot be changed. एक बार जब हम डिक्लेयर कर देंगे इसके साइज को, अब चेंज नहीं कर सकते. इसमें हम 5 ही एंट्री कर सकते हैं इंटर कराते वक्त. इसमें अगर 5 इसके साइज को दिए हैं तो this will create an array with the name arr that can be stored 5 integers. तो मेमोरी एलोकेट होगा कितना, 5 एलिमेंट के लिए. When we declare an array, the element of array do not contain any valid values. वैल्यूड वैल्यूज कोई नहीं होता है जब डिक्लेयर करते हैं, बस हमें लोकेशन मिलता है. जैसे एरे हम 5 का बनाए, 5 का लिए, तो उसमें कोई वैल्यू नहीं आ जाएगा. हाँ, यहाँ पे जैसे डिक्लेरेशन किए इंट एरे 5, तो बस मेमोरी में बस 5 ब्लॉक्स रिजर्व हो जाएंगे. और जब हम एरे में क्या कराएंगे, इनिशियलाइज करेंगे, एंट्री कराएंगे यहाँ पे जैसे कराए हैं वैल्यूज को, तब इसमें जाकर वैल्यू स्टोर होगा. इंडेक्सिंग कहाँ से होगा, यहाँ से स्टार्ट होगा 0 से, तब A1 में, तब 2 में, तब 3, तब 4 में, ऐसे होगा. ठीक, फाइन. When we declared an array, the element of array do not contain any valid values. Initialize the array. Initialization means assigning initial values to array element. We can initialize the array with the values enclosed in curly braces. So we can see here in the curly braces we just provide the all 5 elements in this 5 location for storing 5 location as assigned to the array. For example, int array size 5, we initialize the value here. These values will be assigned sequentially. It means that the first element will go to index 0, will be the 10, second will be the 20, and so on. The number of values in the list cannot be more than the size of array, but they can be less than the size. This is called partial initialization. So if you want to just we have defined the array of a size 5, but we want to just initialize only 3 values. So this initialization is called partial initialization. Partial means what? We are not completely initializing. Partially means a part of that that array. That is called partially, just some parts. So how many parts? Just in 3 locations we want to enter the values, the size whose size is 5. So just we initialize the 3 values, first, second, third. We know that its location is position is index is from 0 to in a sequence manner, in a contiguous manner. And when we come to the location 4th and 5th, it will store 0 because we don't initialize for the 4th and 5th value. The size of array can be skipped if the size should be the same as the number of values. What it is saying, the size of array can be skipped if the size should be the same as the number of the values. All the element can be easily initialized to 0 as shown below. Hmm. So also we can, this method is only work for 0 but not for the any other values. Why? If you want to initialize all the elements to store in all locations, so we can store 0 at every location by initializing like this. The value assigned should be of the same type of the array element specified in the declaration. Access array elements. Element of an array can be accessed by this position called index. In the sequence in a C++, index of an array start from 0 instead of 1. We just have to pass these index inside the uh, square bracket with the array name as shown. So for accessing array name and then index of the element to be accessed from which index. So if we want to access the value of the 0 index, we will write 0 in the bracket. If we want to access the value of 1, we will write here 1. If we want to access value of 2, 2. If we want to access the value of 4, we will enter here 2. It is very important to note that the index can be negative or greater than the size of array. Minus 1, that is lesser than equal to 0 index, and index size will be the size minus 1. Also it can also be it can't be negative and greater than the size of so any index can't be the more than the size of any, so the size can't be here 6 or a minus 1 minus 2 like this number. So this is the condition for the index. It will be always greater than or equal to 0 or lesser than equal to its size. Size minus 1, not size. So here there is a simple example of array that is initialized by 5 values. So accessing fourth element, we want to access the fourth element. So where is the fourth element? Here is the fourth element. What is its position location? So 0 1 2 3, third index. So we will enter here the third index. So if you want to access the value of zeroth index, so we will write the zero index in the a square bracket. Fine. So output that will be got of three index, this and this from the first. Update array element. To change the element at the particular index in array, just use the assignment operator with a new values as right hand expression while accessing the array element. So suppose there is the array initialized with the 5 values and we want to now update the element, any element of array. Suppose we want to update the first element, this element, and I want to enter here 19. So just I define the location, position index where I want to update, and then I will assign the value, and then if I will print, that will be the uh, stored at the zeroth position. So how it updates, so you can see here, now we have on the index 0 19 after updating by using this method array location index then assign the values. Now traverse array. Traverse means visiting each element one by one. The advantage of array is that it can be easily traversed by using a loop. With loop variable that runs from 0 to size 1. We use this loop variable as index of array and access element on one by one sequentially. So for traversing, suppose there is a array initialized by 5 values and traversing and printing arrays. So by using loop we can traverse all element or print all element. So it is easy to visit all element one by one by using loops. So how we initialize this for loop? By starting the index 0 and it will into the index 4. For this will cover the 5 element 0 to 4, and now we can print the values of all. So traversing can be done in any array by using loop. So it is easy to uh, traverse if we have the size of the elements of the array. There are more methods to traverse array that are listed here. Traverse an array in C++. So first method, that is by using the loop concept, so visiting each element one by one. Size, there are traverse an array, so we can say here traverse in array. There are three ways to traverse element of array in C++: using for loop, using for each loop, using range based for loop. So that was quite difficult for me when I was studying this. Let's discuss each of them methods. So we already in the for loop. uh, so I want to see the for each loop. For each loop, powerful std algorithm operator to range element and applying cost. Find function attack range starting and last iterator object as a first two parameters and the function object as the third one. Below is the C++ program to implement the above approach. So here there is a header file, new header file, and this is the universal header file for accessing every type of uh, standard keywords. This header file is initialized here. So there is a code, derived code. Here is array initialized by the 6 values, and traversing array with for each using arrays data type. So traversing arrays data type. So for int x array and cout x. Hmm, auto will automatically check the value of all the array, and then it will print to. So it is quite easy, but I haven't understood this completely. Using range based loop. So again, that same bit slash stdc plus plus dot h. There is an array of 6. Count auto impression var array, and now we'll access the variable. So that's quite fine, but we will not cover this. We have to just see this size of array. Size of array refers to the number of the elements that can be stored in array. The array does not contain the information about its size, but we can extract the size using size of operator. Hmm. So here there is a array char of character data type, and it has 5 elements. Size of the element of an array. How we can find the size? So by using the size of array, and we will enter the uh, 0th index. Size of element of an array. Size of array, and length of an array. N equal to size of array divided by size of array 0. So length of an array equal to n, that is fine. Size of array 0 is 1 and size of array is 5. So length of an array is 5. So why we perform like this? We can easily print this value, so that will also display the length of array size. To know more method, refers this article. Array and pointers. C++ arrays and pointers are closely related to each other. The array name can be treated as constant pointer that store the memory addresses of first element of the array. So there is an array that is initialized with the size 5. So printing the array name. So we can print here, and printing address of the first element. So we can got firstly array means the location of array, and then the location of first element will be the quite similar. Fine. Fine. Initialize internally, array operator are performed using pointer arithmetic. Initially, array operators are performed using pointer arithmetic, so we can do almost any array operation using pointer to the first element. For example, we can access all the element of the array using pointer to the first element. So here there is array, and define a pointer to the first element, that is in ptr array, and it will point out the first element of the array. And so when we are using the For loop that is initialized by 0 and its condition is less than 5 and the updation part is increment by 1. The count pointer ptr plus I. So it will give the location for the each element of the array. So we can see here this is our value. This is pointing the location of the array. What are the values there stored there? Pass array to function. Array are passed to function using pointers. As the array name decays to a pointer to the first element, so we also need to pass the size of the array to the function. Array to function that takes array as argument. So we can see there is a print array function, and in which we entered the argument in the form of array, and another is in form of int. So we define this array like it will just print the each and every element of the array, and when in the main section we initialize the array, this array, and again we want to uh, define this n as the size of array minus divided by the size of array 0. So print the array and n. So when we call it passing the array, then it will return the all values of that array. There are also other ways to pass array to functions, refers to the article. Multi-dimensional array. In the above example, we saw 1D dimensional array. This array size can only increase in a single direction called dimension. C provides the feature to have as many dimensions as desired for an array. Arrays declared with the more than one dimension are called multi-dimensional arrays. Create multi-dimensional arrays. Data type array name, size of rows, size of columns, and size of the other dimension that we want to enter, where size 1, size 2 are the size of the each dimensions. The complexity of the array operators increase ex exponentially with the increasing in dimension. Some commonly used multi-dimensional array are two-dimensional array. It is an array that has exactly two dimensions. It can be visualized in the form of rows and columns, origined in a two-dimensional plan. Three-dimensional array. A 3D array has exactly three dimensions. It can be visualized as a collection of 2D arrays stacked on top of the each other to create the third dimension. So we can see there are just two images. So this is the first image that is up to the array. So we can imagine here is a two dimensions. This is the first dimension in the form of row, and that is the second dimension that is in the form of the column. So this is up to dimension. If we come to here, we have not just only the rows and columns, but a layer of several rows and columns, several tables. So it has not only two dimension, these two dimension, but we have also these dimension too, a layer of the tables, matrix tables. So that's why we called it 3D. We have just this layer is to a dimension 2. So the property of arrays. An array is a collection of data of the same data type stored at a contiguous memory location. Indexing of an array start from 0. It means the first element is stored at 0th index, the second at the first, and so on. Elements of an array can be accessed using their in indi indices. Indices. This is the plural form of index. Once an array is declared, its size remains constant throughout the program. An array can have multiple dimensions. The size of array is bytes can be determined by the size of the operator using which we can also find the number of elements in the array. We can find the size of the type of elements stored in the array by subtracting adjacent addresses. Array practice problem. So we can see here. So now we are going to start the core concept, and in the core concept we will firstly see the all important topics like pointers and reference. Then we will delete operators in the dynamic memory, we can see here, and then we will see the structure union, then we will see file handling, then we will start the oops concept. Fine. So we start with the pointer and reference in C++. In C++, pointer and reference both are the mechanism used to deal with the memory and memory addresses and data in the program. Pointers are used to store the memory addresses of the another variable, whereas references are used to create an alias for an already existing variable. Pointers in C++. Pointer in C++ are the symbolic representation of addresses. They enable programs to simulate call by reference and create and manipulate dynamic data structures. They enables program to simulate call by reference and create and manipulate They enable program to simulate call by references and create and manipulate dynamic data structure. Pointers store the addresses of variables or memory locations. So what is the syntax, how we initialize any pointer? So firstly we define the data type, then asterisk variable name for that pointer. For example, int asterisk ptr. PTR pointer to an address that holds the data. Example of a pointer in C++. The below program demonstrate the use of the pointer in C++. So we can see here there is a code. In this we have provide the value to x variable as 10, assign the value 10 to the x variable, and we make a pointer variable for the int my ptr. My ptr is the pointer, and we assign the address of the x in this pointer my ptr, storing address of the x in the pointer ptr, and cout value of x, and when we will print the x, this will provide this value, and when address stored in the myptr, so again when we will print out the address of the myptr, it will print the address where it is this value is stored. The address of this value is stored, so it will not give us the value, but it will give the address of that value where it is stored, and the value of the x using myptr, and this will give the actual value of the x, because this is the address where this value is stored. huh? So we will got in this case again 10, and but this will give us the location, so we can see here easily 10, and this will give the location, and this will again give the value to us. Explanation: the above program declares an integer variable x initializing with the value 10 and pointer variable named myptr. The memory address of the x is assigned to myptr. Then it prints the value of x, the address stored in myptr, and the value x obtained by the differencing the pointer myptr. To know more about the pointer, how it works, and its mathematical background, refers to a pointer in C++. Application of the pointer in C++. Following are the applications of pointer in C++. To pass argument by the reference, passing by reference serves two purposes. For accessing array element, the compiler initially use pointer to access array element. To return multiple values, for example, in returning a square and a square root of the number, dynamic memory allocation, we use uh, we you we can use pointers dynamically allocate memory. And the advantage of the dynamically allocated memory is that is not deleted until we explicitly delete it. To implement data structure, to do system level programming where the memory addresses are useful. Features and use of pointer in C++. The pointers have a few important features and uses, like it saves memory space. They are used to allocate memory dynamically. It is used for the file handling. Uh, etc pointer stores the address of the variable or memory location. Example, pointer ptr holds the address of the an integer variable holds the address of the memory whose values can be accessed integer value through ptr. This pointer is uh, passed as the hidden argument to the all non-static member function calls, and uh, available as the local variable within the body of all non-static functions. This pointer is not available in the static member function, as a static member function can be called without any object, even if only the member of the each function exists, with which is used by the multiple objects. The compiler supplies an implicit pointer along with the name of the function as this. Hmm. So here is the reference in C++. When a variable is declared as a reference, it becomes an alternative name for an existing variable. A variable can be declared as the reference by putting uh, uh, this is ampersand in the declaration. There are three ways to pass C++ argument: function, call by value, call by reference, and call by reference. With a pointer argument, with a reference argument. So what is the difference between example of the reference in C++? Will a program demonstrator using of reference in C++? So we can see here is a variable that is initialized by that, and it is the reference. Reference refers to the x, uh, changing the value of y to 20. A pointer can be declared as a void, but a reference can never be void. For example, in a void A, this is valid for pointer, but a reference can't be void. References are less powerful than the pointer. Once the reference is created, it can't be later made to refer another object. It can be reached. This is often done with the pointers. Reference cannot be null. Pointers are often made null in indicate they are not pointing to any valid things. A reference must be initialized when declared. There is no such restriction with the pointers. Passing by pointers versus passing by the reference in C++. We can pass parameters to function either pointer or reference. In both cases we get the same result. So what should be present and why? Passing reference to the pointer in C++. This is the article. Let's compare with use of a pointer to pointers versus refer to a pointers in some cases. So that's all for today. And now I am going to close up this session and going to be ready for the examination. That's all I have for today. Thank you very much to all.